PTSD is very serious. I in no way intend to minimize it. However, I've always wished, having both led talk therapy sessions and been the recipient of talk therapy sessions, that there was some mythical way that you could just assist someone, climb right inside those memories and adjust and fix and help guide. So out of those thoughts was the idea that I could use this ENI system to realize that in a fictional way. Hey, it's the Chief Bonding with Board Games and RPGs. We're back with ENI, ENI from Exist Games and Charles Ward. If you're interested, you can see the description of how to get this, or at least look up some more information on it, down in the descriptions. We're picking right up in this part 2 where we were traveling in a dark void. There was nothing. But part of my training from my teacher was that you stand up straight, shoulders back, and you just persevere. And I did that. Part of this whole journey was the trauma that happened to me in the 3rd episode of this series was like a mental scar and fear and trauma that before I could work with other patients, PTSD, physician, heal thyself, I needed to get my own house in perfect order. And that's what this is an attempt to do. I will not meet with any other patients until I get myself fixed. And part of this was me dropping into my own dream state. And oftentimes in these states, nothing's guaranteed, I can commune with my teacher to assist me, sometimes very directly, sometimes indirectly. Red joined me along the way. For information on Red, see past episodes. But Red is with me, faithfully at my side, appearing as a little red dog, a little red English bulldog. So we were in the situation where the light is still too bright for the eyes. It's as if it's almost a judging light, but I am picking up a positive energy from it. First, it led me forward, and now it's as if I'm being somehow reinvigorated with some energy, which is good. But I'm still noticing that bright light is almost like a judge. It feels almost like you're on stage and the lights are so bright you can't see really into the distance. So I can still see the black void out there, and I'm in the light. And at the same time, I'm shying away from that light a little bit. And so that tells me what does that tell me? That tells me that I'm having some difficulty. It's as if you're up on that stage and the focus is on you. And I think I know that what I'm feeling is also some self-doubt, that almost like that stage fright feeling of, why am I up here? Why am I thinking I can help people? What is my hubris that I would even pretend that I could be of assistance and go into these dreams and somehow, I've got the answer. So there's some self-doubt here. I think it's part of me being very hard on myself as the shamanic clinician of the utter fail that happened with the patient I was working with. The complete and utter fail. Everything I tried, go back and see episodes 2 and 3, the part 1, part 2 of Vice, and it is a complete disaster. It's a complete fail. And I'm feeling that judgment. So much like a crowd can, I'm still getting that energy, so I can feel that energy coming in, but there's that fear of that darkness that's just beyond the light, and the light is still shrouding my vision with its intenseness. So I think I want to go, where does this go from here? That's a tricky spot to be in. And I want to know what happens. Again, I picture all the lights are on me, the stage, it's blinding out there. So I need, again, action and subject on the mythic emulator. 2, okay. 2 is starting, and 29. 29 is pain. Starting, pain. Well, okay, so the experience is emotionally painful. You know, when you're on stage, when you've put yourself out there, it's as if you're exposed. You're stripped bare to observation, to scrutiny, to targeted attacks, to you're just exposed. And that, to me, is what starting pain. So complete feeling of being vulnerable, and I think weakness is there as well. That light of judgment, and it all being focused directly on me. So what is another one? So we have pain, 21. We have the pain that is starting, but there is a release. A release of 76, the mundane. Okay. So I think what I would receive here is what I'm hearing in my own head now is no longer my fear of this unknown, this exposed pain, but it's the reassuring voice of my mentor, and that voice, his voice clearly heard saying, that's it. Would you, or you could have just stayed in your mother's basement. That's it. There's a mirth to it. There's a little bit of a teasing aspect to it. You could have stayed in safety and comfort and been catered to, and never left your father's tent. And I know exactly what that means. And the twinge of humor that is in there sparks a little bit of a smile on my face and a little bit of an internal laugh at the same time. And I think, okay, this is true. So the answer, the mental discussion that I'm having, either with myself or maybe directly with my mentor, it's very hard in these hypnotic states to understand, as you've seen when I'm helping other people. Is this my dream, or am I already being assisted? Is that, of course, if you never venture forth, you won't face these traumas, these terrors, this feeling of exposed weakness. But then you're doing nothing. You're helping no one. You're not helping yourself, your neighbor, your family, the world. So you have to, well, I guess you don't have to, but I've chosen to, much better. I've chosen to step out and confront the world, whatever it may be. I like that. I think that actually is something that really, I don't even need to roll for this. I can feel the voluntary participation of this thing that was my own trauma, allowing some of the trauma to dissipate. I've put myself in these situations deliberately. I do think that maybe the point should be to verbally take responsibility for this in this arena. Like all of a sudden there's like an old style 1940s microphone stand with that big old boxy microphone. I think I saw Elvis like holding on to that once. And if for some reason it's that venue, it's not this, a modern day mic, and I'm drawn to it. And I proclaim this into this microphone, which reverberates throughout this huge like auditorium that again is barely penetrated by the spotlights that are on me. And it is the idea of that I'm in pursuit of something meaningful. So I am pursuing something meaningful with this shamanic clinician work and not something easy. And I'm proclaiming this and it's reverberating. And at the same time, I think I'm convincing myself that this is why I don't just curl up and get comfortable in the proverbial basement. But 1, 2, or 3, and I'm lying to myself. Ooh, it was almost a 3. It was like, do-do-do-do, and it kicked over to a 5. So, very good, because I actually used a 10-sided die for that. Wow, I really wanted to win that. I actually thought I pulled my 8, but I did not. Works. Again, it's not a dramatic, over-the-top success, but 5 is good. And by putting a voice, saying it physically, putting the words out there and broadcasting it, the light seems to become a little less harsh. And I can hear somewhere in the audience just that clap. Now, I don't know, is that good or is that evil? I don't know, is that my mentor or is that evil dark voice I heard out there? I actually think that is the confronting of the evil sitting there by itself, because that clap felt a little bit sarcastic by itself. I think it's a very sure thing that is that demonic presence that I ran into, which is a little bit earlier. I didn't know that was going to happen, but we got to see, is that what happens? A 90 or less, and yes, that's what it is. Ooh, 84. So yes. Okay, interesting. So I still can't penetrate the darkness, but I'm kind of blocking out the light a little bit, and I can see like I think it's more of just a dark shape that's out in the darkness. It's definitely the form of a person, but it's not identifiable other than as like humanoid. But at the same time, the room kind of goes cold. So, what would I do? You can still hear the and I think a voice that's not quite as deep. It's a little more, it's still got an evil twinge to it, but it's not that deep, slow depths of hell. It's a little more human with an evil tint, but I don't know what it's saying. So I'm going to go to the mythic chart again here. Ooh, 0, or no, 100 double zeros. That would be doubles, but I'm not that high up. That would be 10 and 10. That is information. And, oh, sorry, change. Hello. You got to look at the top one first. Change. And now we go down to subject. 58 is stalemate. Well, that's easy. That means I think the voice says, you think talking to yourself fixes yourself? Deeds over words, my boy. Deeds over words. And I think the room snaps and moves away from the stage. And what does it turn into? 7. Wow, we're rolling low numbers. Violate. So violate and 43. Competition. All right, well, I get violate competition. Let's go one more time, see if we can clarify a little more. 62. 62 is inspect. Trying to figure out what world this is dropping me into. Inspect. 55, we have a double. So, and that will work because we're still at chaos factor of 5. So let's see what this is first. Suffering. Ooh, inspect suffering. That's actually perfect. All right, before we go there, we have to do the event focus table again. So let's just see what it is. 43 is, ooh, I have moved toward a thread. So the way this works is threads are little story arcs that have been in play throughout the game. Now, since I've been doing this, I've only had the 2 different patients, the Captain and Dell. And those are, though the thread of working with the patients is there, I don't think that's what we're talking about. So for this random event, I think the thread is that I'm attempting to connect with my mentor. So I believe if we're going to move towards that thread as I pop out of the stage with the comment of deeds, not words, boy, I think what I'll pop into is myself. Yeah, this is it. I'll be laying on, I'm in like a psychologist's office. Very, that Freudian psychologist with the beautiful leather couch and the psychologist with his pipe maybe. Although it's not Freud, well, it will be the mentor. So he's not smoking a pipe, but he's dressed nicely. And he's seated in a chair. And I've popped into this, and it's violate competition and inspect suffering. So, inspecting of the suffering. But I am moving towards the thread. So I believe since we're going to establish it's the mentor, it's as if the mentor's thrown that life saver, that little circle that you would pitch out to somebody that's drowning. I want to say like a life donut. So I've been pitched this life-saving device as if I've been pulled off of that stage in that confrontation with evil. And now I'm in a comfortable, if not clinical, place. And the inspection of my suffering, I think the mentor says, you're with me now. We're in a safe place, but I'm going to ask you questions that will be anything but safe. And I'm thinking, oh, this sounds like the mentor. So I'm in a nice safe place physically, although I'm not physically there, but the questions are not going to be safe. And I think I'm going to pause right there, and we'll have to put this into a part 3, which is more than fine. So we'll have part 3 we'll pick up as these unsafe questions are proposed to me by the mentor.